Hello, gorgeous! Here's how to fake your way through being confident until you actually are. People will not know it hit them. Confidence is a bit of a Pygmalion effect because you can simply practice what people subconsciously find to be attractive. None of these things are really require talking, and a lot of this is body language, so stay till the very end. First is to have comfortable body language. This is insanely sexy. Nervous people are stiff and unattractive. Say, for instance, when you meet the parents for the first time or go to a job interview, you're super stiff and you're sitting like this, where when you sit and sprawl, you form asymmetrical shape. I'll give you an example. So this is a bit improper because I'm in a dress, but when you sprawl and make yourself asymmetrical like this, then it shows a sign of confidence because you're being comfortable, where a person who's nervous sits like this and they're always really stiff. So say when a person is being interrogated for a crime that they committed but they haven't been caught yet, they act very smug and relaxed and they tilt their head, but then when the detective says that they're onto them, they suddenly stiffen up like this. Being confident is about controlling the room by showing that you are not afraid, and a lot of people who have power and who are strong and have a really strong opinion, or if they have a big personality, if you notice, these people aren't afraid of what people will think of them. So they're very confident and natural simply by their body language. So you can see right through a person by the way they sit, by the way they stand. They're not worried about their power leaving them because they know that other people cannot take it and they create it on their own merits. So when someone stands, I'll give you an example. A lot of people who are very tall have a tendency to do this, and a lot of people who are very attractive, when you stand in contrapposto, when you're leaning all your weight, you're shifting your weight onto one leg, onto one side of your body. That shows that you're relaxed, not super up military straight. I personally think guys are very attractive when they do this. Next is to always have good posture. This is really easy if you work out. If you do pull-ups this way, it will hurt if you slouch. And I notice a lot of people think that good posture is military straight, where it's extreme, where their stomach in, chest out, and their butt is sticking out like a duck. I think that's not very sustainable, but if you can manage to sustain it, that's perfectly up to you and good job. When you do something I call comfortable yoga straight, where it's not so extreme, then that's something that's more manageable over time, and you don't feel like you're pushing yourself like I have to be straight. And I see people do this all the time, and then they don't want to stand or sit straight, and it's not beneficial because first off, if you go to a party or if you go to a business event, you are closing other people off to you. So you are literally closing off your airway, you're closing off your neck, your back pain, other people. So nobody wants to talk with someone at a party who's like this. They want to talk with someone who has open body language and is receptive of the world. So when you go like this, you're super confident and more people want to talk to you. They wonder, wow, who is that person? They're very magnetic and they won't realize why. And it's very subtle. I simply say, just drop your shoulders. So you know when you go to the hair salon and your hair gets perfectly coiffed, you feel confident and you drop your shoulders, you feel beautiful. When you see someone with tense shoulders, the first thing that comes to my mind is not just insecurity, but drug addicts. So a lot of drug addicts are always super tense because they're always like looking for their next fix, and it's really unattractive. I live here in Los Angeles. There's a ton of homeless people who look like this. When you have good posture, you look better in your clothes, you look healthier, you look more fit, you look stronger, and you look like someone people can trust when they talk with you. They respect you a bit more when you speak because you carry yourself in such a way. Next is to never raise your chin. So if you notice desperate people who beg, talk with their chin up, and also people who are confrontational and who are very in your face and saying something rude or passive aggressive or just being aggressive, they always get in your face like this with their chin first, and that's like a sign of animals. So animals do this a lot in the wild, where they make themselves big by having their chin in your face, and a lot of people have a tendency to talk like this and you can see what they're thinking, which is not attractive. So do something. This counts for gentlemen, especially gentlemen. When you're talking to people and you want to be taken seriously, have your chin down and do the Princess Diana. You can have your chin parallel to the ground maximum, but have your chin down and open up your eyes when you speak. And this is not necessarily just a feminine thing. This is a way to communicate. So according to evolutionary psychology, people have bred out people without eye whites. So there used to be people whose whole eye color was their whole eye. So you couldn't see what they were thinking. You couldn't see that they were looking around, that they were shifty, that they were nervous.
You'll see that a gorilla doesn't really have whites in their eyes. And you might think, well, that's kind of weird because we do. And so what's the hypothesis? Well, if I'm looking at somebody at the back of the room I can tell if they're looking at my eyes. If they're looking at my nose, it's almost as if their face just gets a little bit vaguer, like we're not communicating. It's eye-to-eye contact. And so our ability to specify the direction in which another person's eyes are pointing is phenomenal. There's a lot of expression around the eyes, right? So you can imagine a coevolution. The coevolution is sharper and sharper vision, vision associated with detecting eyes, and then also more and more evolution for emotional expression around the eyes. The reason that I would be interested in that is because I want to know what the hell you're up to. Because maybe you're a friend and maybe you're a foe, or maybe you're interested in something that I should be interested in. And so we know what people are like in that regard.
These people were outbred, meaning that nobody mated with them or they were all killed off, because it's very important as human beings to socially connect and communicate our thoughts. So never raise your chin when you speak, which brings me to my next tip: never raise your voice. Raising your voice is not something that anybody needs to do. Nobody wants to listen to a gentleman who is raising his voice. Nobody wants to hear a woman who is raising her voice. And if you raise your voice, to me it's like a chihuahua. Nobody wants to hear a chihuahua because you look very weak, you look very small right now, and you have to overcompensate with being loud. This means you're not used to being heard. I know a lot of people who grew up in a multiple like they had a lot of siblings. You find your volume by gauging the situation. Say when you go to a library, you're very quiet. If you go to a tram in Japan, you're very quiet. If you go to an art gallery, you might hear hushed tones and hear the echoes of people's feet. That's a sign that, hey, you don't hear people talking very loud. White tablecloth restaurants where it's a bit more intimate, you need to lower your voice, especially at business meetings. If you want to make a valid point and make people listen to you, you have to speak softly and calmly so that they lean in. They will physically lean in. If they're more interested too, they will lean in. If you are checking off all the boxes on a date, they will lean in naturally. So you don't have to raise your voice. There's never a good time to raise your voice. And the final thing today is to enunciate. I live here in Los Angeles and it's really easy for me to slur my words, and it's also really quite common here to slur our words. And sometimes we're at a party and we have to scream over the music and we ask each other to repeat ourselves multiple times. That is so annoying. That's annoying to absolutely anybody who knows what it's like to speak with a low talker or someone who slurs. I have this problem a lot. I have a friend who speaks very, very quickly and he smashes everything together. So what you do is you enunciate so that people can understand you. It's the polite thing to do, to speak clearly so that others can understand you. And when you enunciate, it also sounds like you are more firm in your points, like you know what you're talking about, and you're more credible when you speak. That way, when people ask you a question, they don't have doubts when they hear your answers. So I hope this helps. Give this a like to help more people feel stronger, more empowered about their confidence and their sociability. If you want more social graces, visit dixonetiquette.com and subscribe and click the bell to never miss a post. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.